Sige, mag-start kita. We are now live through our DPWH District Engineering Office, Davao del Sur YouTube channel. To all back members, TWG members, back secretariat, interested bidders, observers, and viewers, good morning. Our procurement proceedings for today is a pre-bid conference for civil works. The pre-bid conference will now come to order. The pre-bid conference for 18 projects, civil works projects. The 26 LD 0004 rebid construction of concrete road Bacungan-Malawanit road in support of the cacao industry. Station 0 plus 869.015 to Station 1 plus 269.015 Magsaysay, Davao del Sur. ABC 11,304,300 pesos. Contract duration 82 calendar days. Next is 26 LD 0015 rebid construction of concrete road to NRG leading to Soong Ecopark. Station 3 plus 182.9 to Station 3 plus 362.9 Digos City, Davao del Sur. ABC 4,239,480 pesos. Contract duration 39 calendar days. Next, 26 LD 0017 rebid construction of concrete road Tubod-Libertad-Bitaug road connecting Tribal Weavers Women Association and Davao-Cotabato road Cotabato section in support of the Wearables industry. Station 3 plus 247.74 to Station 3 plus 587.32 and Station 3 plus 977.09 to Station 4 plus 137.51 Bansalan, Davao del Sur. ABC 11,586,540 pesos. Contract duration 84 calendar days. Next is 26 LD 0061 rebid construction completion of multi-purpose building, gymnasium at Penro, Digos City, Davao del Sur. ABC 4,950,000 pesos. Contract duration 90 calendar days. Next is 26 LD 0156 construction of multi-purpose building, evacuation center at Tubod-Libertad-Bitaug, Davao del Sur. ABC 4,950,000 pesos. Contract duration 120 calendar days. Next is 26 LD 0166 construction of multi-purpose building, gymnasium, Sitio Bisa, Barangay Anunang, Bansalan, Davao del Sur. ABC 7,920,000 pesos. Contract duration 150 calendar days. Next is 26 LD 0169 rebid construction of multi-purpose building, Barangay Hall, Barangay Palacio, Kiblawan, Davao del Sur. ABC 4,950,000 pesos. Contract duration 90 calendar days. Next is 26 LD 0171 construction completion of multi-purpose building, tribal hall at Barangay Balabag, Digos City, Davao del Sur. EBC 2,475,000 pesos. Contract duration 70 calendar days. Next is 26LD0178, construction completion of National Irrigation Administration Building, Digos City, Davao del Sur. EBC 9,900,000 pesos. Contract duration 150 calendar days. Next is 26LD0186, construction completion of multipurpose building, social hall at Rizal Elementary School, Barangay Rizal, Malalag, Davao del Sur. EBC 1,980,000 pesos. Contract duration 70 calendar days. Next is 26LD0034, construction of multipurpose building, covered court, Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, BJMP, Digos City, Davao del Sur. EBC 4,950,000 pesos. Contract duration 120 calendar days. Next is 26LD0035, construction of multipurpose building, Barangay Hall, Barangay Balnate, Magsaysay, Davao del Sur. EBC 4,950,000 pesos. Contract duration 120 calendar days. For 26LD0064, construction of multipurpose building, Barangay Hall, Barangay Piapi, Padada, Davao del Sur. EBC 4,950,000 pesos. Contract duration 120 calendar days. Next is 26LD0097, construction of public water supply system, Barangay Marber, Bansalan, Davao del Sur. EBC 4,950,000 pesos. EBC contract duration 150 calendar days. Next is 26LD0125, construction of public water supply system, Bansalan, Davao del Sur. EBC 9,900,000 pesos. Contract duration 210 calendar days. Next is 26LD0179, construction of multipurpose building, evacuation center, Barangay Bagong Silang, Kidlawan, Davao del Sur. EBC 4,950,000 pesos. Contract duration 120 calendar days. Next is 26LD0180, construction of multipurpose building, evacuation center, Barangay Sinawilan, Digos City, Davao del Sur. EBC 4,950,000 pesos. Contract duration 120 calendar days. The last is 26LD0187, construction completion of multipurpose building, canteen, Digos City Senior High School, Barangay Ikpit, Digos City, Davao del Sur. EBC 1,980,000 pesos. Contract duration 70 calendar days. So, I-request the Head of Secretariat, Engineer Rebecca Suela, to conduct a roll call and acknowledge the interested bidders and observers.
Good morning, everyone. We would like to acknowledge the presence of the BAC members, BAC TWWH, BAC Secretariat, observers, viewers for the pre-bid conference for civil works. Engineer for the BAC members, Engineer Daisy Caliban, Ms. Aisel Carla Uyaw, Engineer Rialyn Santos, Engineer Achilles Ray Mibolos, Engineer Ace Mariano Lucero Jr., Engineer Teresa Relacion, BAC TWG, Engineer Wilbel Montañez, Engineer James Robin Sarsuna, Mr. Novi Carlo Nasibo, Engineer Edward Abdala, Engineer Rodel Polinar, Engineer Raymond De La Cruz, Engineer Roger Paha, Engineer Waldomer Ausa, Engineer Ramil Maranan, Engineer Junaili Mondi, Engineer Arbilin Bunyo, Engineer Roy Cansancio, Mr. Elton John Albert Terencio, BAC Secretariat, Engineer Anelisa Bonsit, Engineer Vanessa Lasconia, Engineer Annie Lorraine Diamante, Engineer Lois Claire Villa, Ms. Lucrecia Bocong, and Ms. Carla Arnel Lopez. We have our observer, Mr. Ronnie T. Samlin, Barangay Captain, Balnate, Magsaysay, Davao del Sur. We have also Jail Inspector Renato Sedon, OIC BJMP, and Jail Officer 2, Lovely T. Torres, BJMP Digos. Madam Chair, We issue notice to observers dated June 1, 2026 to Honorable John Tracy Cagas, Congressman Davao del Sur, to UCUA Audit Team, Mr. Eric Himinga, State Auditor, to Wilfredo Dicina, President, Philippine Constructors Association Incorporated, to the Director, National Constructors Association of the Philippines Incorporated, to Mr. Carlo Batalla, President and Chairman, Crime and Corruption Watch, CCW International Incorporated, to Honorable Maria Sorahay Dati Valentin, Municipal Mayor Malalag, Davao del Sur, to Honorable Joseph Fortich Cagas, City Mayor Digos City, Davao del Sur, to Honorable Carl Jason Rama, Municipal Mayor Kiblawan, Davao del Sur, to Honorable Arthur David, Municipal Mayor Magsaysay, Davao del Sur, to Honorable Edwin G. Reyes, Municipal Mayor Bansalan, Davao del Sur, to Honorable Jewel Carpentero, Municipal Mayor Palada, Davao del Sur, to Honorable Edwin G. Reyes, Municipal Mayor Bansalan, Davao del Sur, to Honorable Rosita A. Angel, Punong Barangay Rizal, Malalag, Davao del Sur, to Honorable Jeric H. Bukol, Punong Barangay 3 de Mayo, Digos City, Davao del Sur, to Miss Chiri Del Ordanisa, Administrative Officer for HRMO2, Pedro, Digos City, Davao del Sur, to Honorable Jonathan O. Martorillas, Punong Barangay Balabag, Digos City, Davao del Sur, Engineer Dexter F. Tinapay, Division Manager A, National Irrigation Administration, NIA, Davao del Sur Irrigation Management Office, to Honorable A.D. M. Bitel Senior, Punong Barangay Takog, Kiblawan, Davao del Sur, to Honorable GCS Pandian, Punong Barangay Palasyaw, Kiblawan, Davao del Sur, to Honorable Maximo C. Amaba, Punong Barangay Bacungan, Magsaysay, Davao del Sur, to Honorable Juanito M. Ladisa, Punong Barangay Tubod, Bansalan, Davao del Sur, to Honorable Jethro P. Diloy, Punong Barangay Anunang, Bansalan, Davao del Sur, Inspector Joel Akbar Hameri, District Jail Warden, Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, BJMP, Digos City, Davao del Sur, to Honorable Bobby M. Palmero Sr., Punong Barangay Sinawilan, Digos City, Davao del Sur, to Miss Risa L. Villaluna, EDD, School Principal 3, Digos City Senior High School, Digos City, Davao del Sur, to Honorable Ronnie T. Samling Sr., Punong Barangay Balnati, Magsaysay, Davao del Sur, Honorable Jeffrey S. De La Luna, Punong Barangay Piapi, Davao del Sur, to Honorable Alejandro D. Mainit, Punong Barangay Marber, Bansalan, Davao del Sur, to Honorable Josefina D. Padillo, Punong Barangay Libertad, Bansalan, Davao del Sur, to Honorable Roger J. Palermo, Punong Barangay New Clarin, Bansalan, Davao del Sur, and to Honorable Jeffrey B. Mariscal, Punong Barangay Bagong Kiblawan, Davao del Sur. That's all, Madam Chair.
Since majority of BAC members are present here, I declare the pre-bid conference for civil works is in quorum. So let's proceed to our agenda number 1, the brief presentation, explanation, including contract description, ABC and duration, to be discussed by the planning engineers, for road projects by Engineer Barry Apitan, for building by Architect R. Milton, and for water supply system, Mr. Franz John Cheese.
Good morning, Madam Chair, my colleagues and visitors. I'm Barapitan about planning design section to discuss the 3 roads project. First, with the ID number 26LD0004, the project name Construction of Concrete Road, Bacungan-Malawanit Road, in support of the Cacao Industry, Station 0+869.015 to Station 1+269.015, Magsaysay, Davao del Sur. An ABC amount of 11,304,300 pesos. Contract duration 82 calendar days. Source of Fund FY 26 the Application Act RA 12314. Locations Barangay Bacungan, Magsaysay, Davao del Sur. Ang project is sa color blue po. Scope of work, completing existing gravel road with a width of 6.7 meters or 3.35 meters. A thickness of 28 meters with a shoulder width of 1.5 meters. Length sa itong project is at 400 meters or 0.8 lane kilometer. And there is installation of paved shoulder, a thickness of 150 feet with a width of 1.5 meters. Location niya at Station 1 plus 027.96 to Station 1 plus 269.015 or a length of 141.055 meters right side. Next, Station 1 plus 027.86 to Station 1 plus 160 to a length of 124.004 meters left side. Next, Station 0 plus 980 to Station 1 plus 000, a length of 20 meters left side. Showing the screen, the typical roadway section and cat and field portions of the project. There is also super elevation and widening block sa tuwang project po. Next, there's installation of RCPC using plus 4. So in the screen, the vertical sections RCPC with type is 1 head wall. Next, in the screen, the typical details of the head wall using stone masonry. Next, schedule sa itong first complete type culverts using plus 4. First, lateral drainage on the left side of Station 1 plus 078.295 to Station 1 plus 086.295. Install one line new 910 mm diameter by 8 linear meter with head wall both sides using stone masonry. Next, with post drainage location at Station 1 plus 027.86. Remove existing damaged RCPC one line 110 mm by 16 linear meter and replace one line new 910 mm diameter by 80 linear meter and provide head wall at both sides using stone masonry. And there's also installation of rectangular concrete line canal using 3000 PSI plus A and reinforcing steel bar grade 40. Location at Station 1 plus 027.86 to Station 1 plus 269.05 right side, a length of 241.055 meters. Next, it's Station 1 plus 027.96 to Station 1 plus 078.295 left side, a length of 50.33 meters. Next, it's Station 1 plus 086.295 to Station 1 plus 160 left side, it's length of symmetry to 05 meters. Showing the screen, the typical meters at one line canal. Clear width of 0.6, clear height of 0.7, and a thickness of 0.15 meters both sides. Next, there is also installation of slope protection using grouted riprap plus 8. Location at Station 0 plus 980 to Station 1 plus 00. Left side, a length of 20 meters. Showing the screen, the typical details of slope protection. For the road safety, we install metal guarder metal beam including post single double beam and metal beam in place using bonus. Ang length sa ito is 20 linear meter ang in place na is 2. Kaya na ito ang metal guarder, color white, primer and top coat. Another road safety we install recognized pavement marking, color white for the center line and each line sa itong project. And for there's a yellow for the no passing zone for the board, total area of 14.89 square meter. So that's only for the 26 LD 0004. Next, with the contract ID number D6DB0015, with the project name Construction of Concrete Road in RG leading to Soong Ecopark, Station 3 plus 182.9 to Station 3 plus 362.9, Digos City, Davao del Sur, with a BC amount of 4,209,480 pesos. Contract duration 39 calendar days. Source of fund Equality 26 Appropriation Act RA12314. Location na siya sa Barangay Tres de Mayo, Digos City, Davao del Sur. Sumpay din siya sa itong last year project at FY 2025. Scope of work, completing of road from Station 3 plus 182.9 to Station 3 plus 362.9. Hanggang width of 3.05 meters both sides or 6.1 meters. A length of 180 meters or 0.369 kilometer and a thickness of 0.3 meters. And a shoulder width of 1.5 meters both sides. Showing the screen, the typical road details for the cut section and field portions of the project. Another scope of work, we install reinforced concrete pipe culverts using class 4. Should the screen the river section of RCPC with type S1 head wall. Next, should the screen the typical plan head wall using stone masonry. Location sa ito ang reinforced concrete pipe culverts using class 4. Cross drainage at station 3 plus 300. Install one line new 1,220 mm diameter RCPC by 12 diameter and provide S-type stone masonry head wall on left side and catch basin at right side using stone masonry. For the road safety, we install motorized pavement marking color white for the center line and each phase of the project, an area of 45 square meter. So that's only for the 26LD0015. Next, with the contract ID number 26LD0017. With the project name Construction of Concrete Road, Tubod-Libertad-Bitaug Road, connecting Tribal Wearables Association at TWWA and Davao-Cotabato Road, Cotabato section in support of the Wearables industry, Station 3 plus 247.74 to Station 3 plus 587.32 and Station 3 plus 977.09 to Station 4 plus 137.51 Bansalan, Davao del Sur. With a BC amount of 11,586,540 pesos. Contract duration 84 days. Source of fund FY 26 Appropriation Act RA12314. Sa location na to sa Bansalan, ang barangay nga Bitaog. So in the screen, the color pink, mga itong PCB, doon siya ka-section. Ang kanang color blue nga existing, at doon siya gigapana. Ang length sa itong project is a total of 500 meters or 1.09 kilometer. Scope of work, completing of existing gravel road from Station 3 plus 247.74 to Station 3 plus 587.32. Length of 329.8 meters, site 1. On a gap of existing of 570.19 meters. The next site at Station 3 plus 977.09 to Station 4 plus 137.51. A length of 160.42 meters atong site 2. And there's also installation of paved shoulder. A thickness of 150 intake or weight of 1.5 meters. Beginning sa itong paved shoulder, Station 3 plus 271.53 to Station 3 plus 380. A length of 108.37 meters. Location niya left side at site 1. There's a rubber transition, a length of 42.49 meters. The length sa itong PCCP is 500 meters or 1.09 kilometer. Ang weight sa itong PCCP is 3.35 meters both side or 6.7 meters and a thickness of 28 meters. And the scope of work, installation of RCPC using class 4. Share the screen na divided sa ito ang RCPC o original using W type S1 headroom. Next, share the screen na divided sa itong touch DC using steel machinery. Next, application sa itong reinforced concrete pipe converts using class 4. First, cross drainage at station 3 plus 271.23. Remove existing damage RCPC 1 line 110 mm diameter by 7 mm and replace one line new 1220 mm diameter by 11 mm. Provide head wall at right side using steel machinery and touch basin at left side using steel machinery. Next, cross drainage at station 3 plus 331.36. Remove existing damage RCPC, one line 110 mm diameter by 7 mm and replace one new line 1220 mm diameter by 40 mm. Provide head wall at right side using steel machinery and touch basin at left side using steel machinery. Another scope of work, the installation of rectangular concrete line canal, concrete using concrete class A, 3,000 PSI and reinforcing steel bar grade 40. Location sa itong light canal at station 3 plus 271.23 to station 3 plus 380. Length of 108.47 meters sa left side siya. Showing the screen the typical details sa itong rectangular concrete line canal. A clear width of 0.9 meters and a clear height of 0.9 meters. Technique sa tuwang wall sa tuwang canal is 0.15 meters both sides. And use grass aggregate sa tuwang grabe namin sa tuwang canal. Next. For the road safety, we install recognized pavement marking, color white for the center line and edge line sa tuwang project. A total area of 125 square meters. Install recognized pavement marking, yellow for non-passing zone. Total area of 8.89 square meters. So that's only for the 3 roads project.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to discuss the 2 projects of public water supply system. First, contract ID 26AD0097, construction of public water supply system, Barangay Marbet, Bansalan, Davao del Sur. The EBC amount of 4,950,000 pesos. Contract duration of 150 calendar days. Source of fund, FY 2026 General Appropriation Act. This project is located at the Barangay Marbet, Bansalan, Davao del Sur, at the back of Marbet National High School. Next. This project is composed of pump house, pilot hole drilling, ECDC solar submersible pump, solar PV array support, elevated steel water tank, pipelines, running faucets, and other appurtenances. Next. Typical details for pilot hole drilling, using equipment of big hole drilling rig. It can penetrate 250 mm diameter at 120 meters deep. The solar pump specifications to use DC submersible multi-speed solar pump with ECDC auto switch controller. Next. This pump test data sheets and well log process record sheets are these sheets that can be used will be submitted to the TWWA for water permit purposes. Next. Typical details for elevated steel water tank, using structural concrete for pedestals, milestone for shells and for tanks. Next. It's a footprint of pump house, only 2 by 2.5 meters, around 5 square meters. Next. A footprint of solar PV panel support. It can carry 6 solar panels of 600 watts each panels. Next. This typical pressure and liquid testing for pipelines using pressure pumps and manifolds. Next. This summary of quantity for other general requirements for building permit, excavation permit, water permit from NWRB, earthworks, reinforced concrete works, finishing works, electrical works, mechanic works, and other water supply works. Second, contract ID of 26LD0125, construction of public water supply system, Bansalan, Davao del Sur. An EPC amount of 9,900,000 pesos. Contract duration of 210 calendar days. Source of fund, FY 2026 General Appropriation Act. These projects are composed of 2 barangay, which are Barangay New Clarin and Barangay Libertad, Bansalan. Next. For Barangay New Clarin, this is scope work, pump house, pilot hole drilling, ECDG solar submersible pump, solar PV support, elevated steel water tank, pipelines, tunnel faucets. Next. For the scope works for Barangay Libertad, pump house, pilot hole drilling, ECDC solar submersible pump, solar PV support, concrete ground reservoir, pipelines, tunnel faucets, and other appliances. Typical details for the pilot hole drilling for New Clarin. Equipment to be used, deploy drilling rig at 250 mm diameter that can penetrate 120 meters deep. Next. For pilot hole drilling for Barangay Libertad, going to the reservoir, equipment to be used, deploy drilling rig at 150 mm diameter at 120 meters deep. These doses that will be submitted during for DPWH for water permit purposes. Next. Typical is for the elevated steel water tank using structural concrete for structural column and is fitted by 3M and milestone for the tanks. Next. It's a typical concrete ground reservoir using structural concrete having 3 by 3 internal dimensions and having a 2.8 meters height. Next. Pump house using 2 by 2.5 having 5 square meters. Next. Typical details for solar PV panel support that can carry 6 panels. Next. Pressure and liquid testing of pipelines that can test using pressure pumps and manifolds up to maximum length of 500 meters. Next. For the summary quantity, other general requirement, building permit, excavation permit, water permit, earthworks, reinforced concrete works, finishing works, electrical works, mechanical works, water supply, also for the water supply system.
Good morning, everyone. Now let's proceed to our building projects with a total of 13 projects. Now let's start with contract ID number 26LD0034, or the contract name, Construction of Multipurpose Building, Covered Court, Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, BJMP, Digos City, Davao del Sur, with an appropriation amount of 5 million pesos, ABC amount of 4,950,000 pesos with a contract duration of 120 calendar days, funded under 2026 GA or RA 12314. Okay, our building is a covered court. Here's the perspective. Next, so for the here's our vicinity map, which the project will be located at the vicinity of BJMP in Digos City. Here's our Here's our geotag photo showing the existing court. So for the proof of ownership, their office provided deed of use from. Then here's a site development plan showing, of course, Pan Gymnasium. Next. So for this project, it will include a 20 meters by 50 meter dimension play court for 4 bays in total, with 5 meters span on each bay. Then we included a suspended board and ring on the one side, a painting work, suspended board and ring for both sides. Painting works, then concrete slab overlay with 100 mm thick. Then no stage and no bleachers. Here's our elevation, the front and the rear, showing also the louvers. Next, so the site will only fit for 4 span covered court. So we have limited space on their existing site. Next, this project will be composed of metal truss structure, maintaining angle bars. Then we have the grade 60 and the grade 40, reinforcing steel bars for the reinforced concrete pedestals. Then 2 mm thick by 50 by 150 mm rectangular tube for the purlins. So here's some of the structural details. Then for the sum of quantities, of course, we have the general requirements, which includes the permits and the clearances. For the earthwork, we have an excavation, then embankment. Then we have, for the reinforced concrete, we have the 3000 PSI and the 4000 PSI structural concrete, grade 40, grade 60 reinforcing steel bars. Then under finishing and other civil works, we have the fabricated materials into the fascia board, finishing works, which includes the reflective insulation, painting works, roof framing and roofing works, plumbing, which includes the catch basin and storm drainage and downspout, then electrical works. So now let's proceed for contract ID 26LD0035. The contract name, construction of multipurpose building, Barangay Hall, Barangay Balnate, Magsaysay, Davao del Sur, with an appropriation amount of 5 million pesos, ABC amount of 4,950,000 pesos, with a contract duration of 120 calendar days, funded under 2026 GA or RA 12314. So our project will be located at Barangay Balnate, near Balnate Elementary School. The LGU provided a transfer certificate of title for the proof of ownership or not ownership. For the site development plan, a project will be located between the Barangay Health Center and the Child Development Center. There's also removal of the existing walks. Here's our one-story Barangay Hall perspective. So for the floor plan, we have a total floor area of 96 square meters, or 12 meters by 8 meters, which spaces provided are the following: a porch, a lobby, staff clerical office, a toilet room or PWA toilet room, pantry, session hall, and head office. The mainly composed of Reinforced concrete columns and beams, and then steel trusses for the roof framing. And for the summary quantities, we have the general requirements, the permits and clearances. For earthwork, we have removal of tree and then removal of structures. Then for reinforced concrete, we have the 3,000 and 4,000 PSI structural concrete. The grade 40 and grade 60 reinforcing steel bars. For termite control works, we have the soil poisoning and wood preservative. Masonry works, fabricated materials such as the doors and the windows. Finishing works is the tile works and the ceiling. Painting, varnishing and other related works. Roof framing and roofing works. Plumbing, which includes the sewer line works and the cold water lines. Also include the catch basin, the storm drainage and downspouts, typical plumbing fixtures. And electrical works, and under mechanical works, we have the air conditioning system and the fire extinguishers. For contract ID 26LD0061, over the contract name, construction completion of multipurpose building, gymnasium at Penro, Digos City, Davao del Sur, an appropriation amount of 5 million pesos, an ABC amount of 4,950,000 pesos, with a contract duration of 90 calendar days. Funded under 2026 DAA or RA 12314. So for this project, it is a completion project for the existing gym. It will be located at Penro, near the Digos City terminal, the bus terminal. Here's the geotag photo showing an existing slab or playcourt. Their office provided an original certificate of title for the lot ownership. Next. Again, here is the vicinity map showing the existing structure. So, again, this is a completion project. So, for the scope of work, an additional one span will be provided. Then, we provided a stage with a toilet and dressing room at the back. 3-tier bleachers around the play court, as well as canopy, then suspended board and ring, and then louvers. So here's the elevation showing the louver details, and the stage, and the canopies, bleachers. Again, the right side elevation and left side elevation. So the added span would be composed of the metal truss structure or angle bars, truss details. Then we have the grade 60 and grade 40 reinforcing steel bars for the reinforced concrete pedestals. Then 2 mm thick by 50 by 150 mm rectangular tube for the port lids. So for the summary of quantities, we have the general requirements, the permits and clearances, earthwork, which includes the excavation embankment, reinforced concrete, such as the 3,000 and 4,000 PSI structural concrete, and the grade 40, grade 60 reinforcing steel bars. For finishing and other civil works, we have the masonry works, with the pictures, for fabricated materials, doors and windows for the dressing room and the toilet, finishing works, such as the tile works, ceiling, painting works, roof framing works, plumbing, which includes the catch basin, storm drainage and downspout, sewer line works and the cold water lines, plumbing fixtures and septic vault, then electrical works. For contract ID 26LD0064, with the contract name, construction of multipurpose building, Barangay Hall, Barangay Piape, Parada, Davao del Sur, with appropriation amount of 5 million pesos, an ABC amount of 4,950,000 pesos, with a contract duration of 420 calendar days, funded under 2026 DAA or RA 12314. Here's our vicinity map showing the location, which will be located at Barangay Piape, near Maria Cleta de los Santos National High School. Here's a geotag photo. So for the ownership, the LG provided a donation. So here's the site. So here's the perspective for our barangay hall. a non-typical design. So the building really has a dimension of 8 meters by 12 meter dimension, or total floor area of 96 square meters. So we will be attached on a firewall. The space is provided on the following: a porch, a lobby, a staff clerical office, pantry, TWWA toilet, session hall, then head office. The building will be composed of reinforced concrete columns and beams and steel trusses for the roof framing. So for the summary of quantities, we have the general requirements, the permits and clearances, and under earthwork, we have the individual removal of trees, excavation and embankment. For reinforced concrete, we have the 3,000 and 4,000 psi structural concrete, for grade 40 and grade 60 reinforcing steel bars. Under finishing under civil works, we have the wood preservative, masonry works, CHB walls, the 100 mm thick and 150 mm thick CHB walls, fabricated materials such as the doors and the windows. For finishing works, we have the tile works, the ceiling, reflective insulation. For cleaning works, for the whole project, roof framing and roofing works. Then under plumbing and sanitary works, we have the catch basin, sewer line works, cold water line works, plumbing fixtures, septic vault, storm drainage and downspout. Then electrical works. Then under mechanical works, we included an air conditioning system and fire extinguishers. For contract ID 26 LD0156, for the contract name, construction of multi-purpose building evacuation center at Tubod-Libertad-Bitaug, Davao del Sur, with an appropriation amount of 5 million pesos and ABC amount of 4,950,000 pesos with a contract duration of 120 calendar days, funded under 2026 GAA or RA 12314. So here's our perspective for the port or evacuation center gym type. The project will be located at Cacao, Tiblawan. So here's our site development plan. So for this project, it would only include 3-span play court with bleachers and a stage. So here's our elevation, our front elevation as rear elevation. So here's so it is a progressive type building which only includes 3-span. For the metal truss structure, we composed of angle bars, then grade 60, grade 40 reinforcing steel bars, and then 2 mm thick by 50 by 150 mm rectangular tube for the purlins. So for the summary quantities, we have the general requirements, the permits and clearances. Under earthwork, we have the removal of trees, excavation embankment. For reinforced concrete, we have the 3,000 and 4,000 psi structural concrete and grade 40, grade 60 reinforcing steel bars. Under finishing and other civil works, we have the masonry works, finishing works, painting works, roof framing, plumbing, which includes a catch basin and storm drainage and downspout, then electrical works. For contract ID 26LD0166, with the contract name, construction of multi-purpose building, gymnasium, C2 Disak, Barangay Anonam, Bansalan, Davao del Sur, with an appropriation amount of 8 million pesos, an ABC amount of 7,920,000 pesos, with a contract duration of 150 calendar days, funded under 2026 GAA or RA 12314. Next, so our gymnasium, typical perspective. So here's the vicinity map, which is located right near the barangay center. Here's an existing play court So the LG provided a deduction for the lot ownership. Next. So our building will be located at their existing play court. Here's the site development plan. So our project will include at the 28 meters by 15 meters play court. Then with an attached stage at the side, 3-tier bleachers around the play court. We will also include the canopy and the suspended board and ring. Here's the elevation, the front elevation and rear elevation, showing the louvers and the canopy. And next, here's the right side elevation, left side elevation, showing the bleachers, the 3-tier bleachers, and the stage. The project or the play court will mainly composed of metal structure. The BJMP with 40 reinforcing steel bars for the pedestals, the 2 mm thick by 50 bar, 150 mm thick for the rectangular tube for the purlins. And for the summary quantities, we have the general requirements, the permits and clearances. For the earthwork, we have removal of structure or the existing plate court. Structure excavation, embankment. Then we have the reinforced concrete, the 3,000 and 4,000 PSI structural concrete with 40 and 60 reinforcing steel bars. Other finishing and other civil works, we have the masonry works, finishing works, which include the reflective insulation, painting works, roof framing works, plumbing, which includes the catch basin and storm drainage and downspout, then electrical works. For contract ID 26LD0169, the contract name, construction of multipurpose building, Barangay Hall, Barangay Balastiao, Kiblawan, Davao del Sur, with an appropriation amount of 5 billion pesos, and ABC amount of 4,950,000 pesos, with a contract duration of 90 calendar days, funded under 2026 GA or A12314. So our project will be located at Barangay Balastiao. The vicinity map and the geotag photo. The LG provided a deed of absolute sale and transfer certificate of title for the lot ownership. The barangay hall or proposed barangay hall will be located near or beside their existing gym. Here's the one-story barangay hall perspective. The project has a total of 120 square meters total floor area, or with the dimensions of 15 meters by 8 meters. Spacing provided are the following: main entrance, a lobby, staff or clerical office, PWD toilet room, pantry, session hall, head office, and service entrance. The building would mainly compose of reinforced concrete columns and beams and steel truss. For the roof framing, here's a typical roof truss details, showing angle bars for the trusses. For summary of quantities, we have the general requirements, the permits and clearances, earthwork, and excavation embankment, reinforced concrete, the 3,000 and 4,000 PSI structural concrete, and grade 40 and grade 60 reinforcing steel bars. And the finishing and other civil works, we have the termite control works, masonry works, fabricated materials such as the doors and the windows, finishing works such as the tile works, ceiling, reflective insulation, painting works, roof framing and roofing works, plumbing, which includes the catch basin, storm drainage and downspout, sewer line works, cold water lines, plumbing fixtures, and septic vault, electrical works, and for the mechanical works, we included an air conditioning system and fire extinguishers. For contract ID 26LD0171 with a contract name, construction completion of multipurpose building tribal hall at Barangay Balabag, Digos City, Davao del Sur, with appropriation amount of 2,500,000 pesos and ADC amount of 2,475,000 pesos. With a contract duration of 60 calendar days, funded under 2026 GA. So the tribal hall will be located at the barangay site in Balabag. So here's the vicinity map and the geotag photo. The LGU provided extrajudicial settlement with deed of absolute sale for the lot ownership. So the barangay hall located near their station. I mean the tribal hall, the proposed tribal hall. Here's the one-story tribal hall building perspective. So the building has a total floor area of 45 square meters or 9 meters by 9 meters dimension. Spaces provided, a porch, a function hall, and a head office, BW toilet room, and pantry. The building will be composed of reinforced concrete columns and beams and steel trusses. So for the summary of quantities, we have the general requirements and permits and clearances. Earthwork, we have the excavation and embankment. Reinforced concrete, which is the 3,000 and 4,000 PSI structural concrete under grade 40 and grade 60 reinforcing steel bars. Under finishing and other civil works, we have the termite control works, soil porcelain and wood preservative, masonry works, fabricated materials, such as the doors, the windows, and then we have the finishing works, the tile works, and the ceiling, painting works, roof framing and roofing works, plumbing, which includes the catch basin, sewer line works, cold water lines, septic hole, then storm drainage and downspout, electrical works, and then mechanical works, we included the air conditioning system. For contract ID 26LD0178, or with the contract name Construction Completion of National Irrigation Administration Building, Digos City, Davao del Sur, with an appropriation amount of 10 million pesos and a BC amount of 9,900,000 pesos, with a contract duration of 150 calendar days, funded under 2026 GA or RA 12314. For the vicinity map, the building would be the completion project at National Irrigation Administration Building or office. For the proof of ownership, they provided an original certificate of title, use the vicinity map, or the site development plan. Here's the perspective, but this is a progressive type project, so hindi pa na siya naon. So the building has a total floor area of 922 square meters or 461 square meters in each floor. So a building is a two-story building. Which has spaces provided, but mainly the project, the project will only include the structural components of the building, which includes the footing, the substructure, the superstructure, the roofing. Next, so the building has is composed mainly of white flange or I-beams. There's the framing. So the building. So here's the roof framing. So mainly this would be the output for this project, just the structural components. So for the summer quantities, you have the general requirements, the permits and clearances. For the earthwork, we have the excavation and embankment. For reinforced concrete, we have the 4,000 PSI structural concrete only. So the slab are not included in this project. Reinforcing steel, grade 40 and grade 60. Then under finishing and other civil works, you have the painting works for the steel or the I-beams, roof framing and roofing works, then structural steel. That's it. So for contract ID number 26 LD0179 for the contract name construction of multipurpose building evacuation center, Barangay Bagong Silang, Tiblawan, Davao del Sur, with an appropriation amount of 5 million pesos, an ADC amount of 4,950,000 pesos, with a contract duration of 120 calendar days, funded under 2026 GA or RA 12314. So again, the perspective for the gym or evacuation center gym type. Here's a vicinity map. And the geotag photo. The LGU provided a deed of absolute sale for the lot ownership. Again, here's the site development plan. So mainly, wala no reference building nearby. So our project will only include the 4-span clay court, the no stage, but with bleachers, 2-tier bleachers, then suspended board and ring. Without suspended board and ring, because this is a progressive type building. So here's the elevation, no louvers as well. And so it will mainly compose of metal attached structure, grade 16, grade 40 reinforcing steel bars for the reinforced concrete pedestals, 2 mm thick by 50 by 150 mm rectangular tube for the purlins. For general requirements, we have the premise appearances. For earthwork, we have the embankment and excavation, reinforced concrete, which includes a 3,000 and 4,000 PSI structural concrete, and grade 40 and grade 60 reinforcing steel. Then under finishing and other civil works, you have the masonry works, finishing works, which includes the reflective insulation, cleaning works for the bleachers and steel structures, roof framing and roofing works. For plumbing, we have the storm drainage, then electrical works. For contract ID 26L0179, for construction of multipurpose building evacuation center. Sorry, let's repeat. 26LD0180 for the contract name construction of multipurpose building evacuation center, Barangay Sinawilan, Digos City, Davao del Sur, with appropriation amount of 5 million pesos, an ABC amount of 4,950,000 pesos, with a contract duration of 120 calendar days, funded under 2026 GA or RA 12314. Again, our typical gym type evacuation center perspective. Here's a vicinity map and geotag photo showing an existing court. The LGU provided a transfer certificate of title for the lot ownership. So here's the site development plan. This project will have a 5 bays, but with 5 meters span on each bay. We provided a suspended board and railing, painting works, overlay, 1 mm thick concrete slab without stage and without bleachers. Here's the elevation, the front and the rear, also showing the louvers. Here's the right side and left side elevation. The project will be composed of metal truss structure, which in a grade 16 and grade 40 reinforced steel bars on the reinforced concrete pedestals. Then 2 mm thick by 50 by 150 mm rectangular tube for the purlins. For summary of quantities, we have the general requirements, the premise appearances, earthwork, the embankment excavation, reinforced concrete, the 3,000 and 4,000 PSI structural concrete, under grade 40 and under grade 60 reinforcing steel bars, Under finishing other civil works, we have the painting works, roof framing and roofing works, plumbing, which includes the storm drainage and the catch basin, then electrical works. For contract ID 26LD0186, or with the contract name, construction, completion of multipurpose building, social hall at Rizal Elementary School, Barangay 128958, Barangay Rizal, Davao del Sur, in appropriation amount of 2 million pesos, and ABC amount of 1,980,000 pesos, with a contract duration of 70 calendar days, funded under 2026 GAA or RA 12314. The building would be located at Rizal Elementary School. Sa vicinity map, and the photo. They provided an original certificate of title for the lot ownership. Here's the proposed social hall. Here's the perspective showing a one-story social hall. The building would only compose of, would maybe has a dimension of 10 meters by 8 meters or 80 square, a total for area of 80 square meters. There's an elevation as well. So for the structural components, it will mainly compose of reinforced concrete columns and beams and metal truss. So for the sum of quantities, we have the general requirements, the purpose and clearances. For earthwork, we have removal of trees, excavation embankment, reinforced concrete, which is the 3,000 and 4,000 PSI structural concrete under grade 40, grade 60 reinforcing steel bars. Under finishing and other civil works, we have the masonry works, fabricated materials, finishing works, the shutters are ceiling, and then the painting works, roof framing and roofing works, then electrical works. For contract ID 26LD0187, or with the contract name, construction, completion of multipurpose building canteen, Digos City Senior High School, 341503, Barangay Iktit, Digos City, Davao del Sur, with an appropriation amount of 2 million pesos, an ABC amount of 1,980,000 pesos, with a contract duration of 70 calendar days, funded under 2026 GAA or RA 12314. So again, our project will be located at Digos City Senior High School, Iktit. Here's the photo. So here's the site development plan, which will be located near their existing canteen and near their guardhouse. For the lot ownership, the school provided a contract of use of ground. Okay. Here's the perspective for the canteen. Next. So it has a total area of 120 square meters. And here's the spaces provided, the canteen or the dining area, and then a hand wash. Here's the the structural component. It is composed of reinforced concrete columns and beams, and then the steel trusses for the roof framing. For the summary of quantities, we have the general comments, the permits and the clearances. Then for the earthwork, we have the excavation embankment. Under reinforced concrete, we have the 3,000 and 4,000 PSI structural concrete, and the grade 40 and grade 60 reinforcing steel. Then under finishing and other civil works, we have the masonry works, finishing works, which are the tile works, painting works, roof framing and roofing works, plumbing, which includes the sewer line and the plumbing fixture or for the hand wash, electrical works. That's it for the building projects.
For agenda number 1B, the requirement of bidding documents, including instruction to bidders general condition of contract, special condition on the specification, drawings, bill of quantities, and forms. For agenda number 1C, documents to be submitted by the bidders. And for agenda number 1D, criteria and procedure for eligibility check, preliminary examination of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, post-qualification, and award. These three requirements to be discussed by Engineer Nibolos.
Documents comprising the bid. First bid envelope shall contain the following technical documents, including the eligibility documents. First, valid PhilJEP's registration certificate, platinum membership, all pages, in accordance with Section 20 of the IRR of RA 12009. QR code must be clear and readable. Failure of the bidder to update its PhilJEP certificate of registration with the current and updated supporting documents shall result in the automatic suspension of the bidder's certificate. Second, special PCAB license and registration in case of joint venture. Third, statement of all ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. Failure by the bidder to disclose all ongoing government and private contracts leads to automatic disqualification and potential blacklisting for misrepresentation. Use the prescribed template provided in the bidding documents. Attachments: 1. Copy of notice of award and/or contract. 2. Copy of notice to proceed issued by the project owner. And 3. Copy of certificate of accomplishment signed by the project owner or authorized representative. In case of no ongoing contract, the bidder shall submit this duly signed form and indicate no ongoing contracts under the column number 1. Dual purpose of the statement all ongoing contracts. It is relevant in relation to the computation of the NFCC formula. The value of all outstanding or uncompleted portions of ongoing contracts will be deducted from the product of the current assets minus liabilities multiplied by 15. Hence, for the procuring entity to determine the correct computation of the NFCC, the bidder shall declare all of its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. The statement of all ongoing government and private contracts still has its significance in relation to the verification on the bidder's performance in its ongoing contracts during post-qualification process. Fourth, statement of single largest completed contract, or SLCC, similar to the contract to be bid, in accordance with instructions to bidders, clause 5.5. SLCC must be equivalent at least 50% of the ABC. Use the prescribed template provided in the bidding documents. Attachments: 1. Copy of contract. 2. Copy of certificate of completion. And 3. Copy of certificate of final acceptance issued by the project owner other than the contractor, or a final rating of at least satisfactory in the constructor's performance evaluation system. In case of contracts with the private sector, an equivalent document shall be submitted. Fifth, net financial contracting capacity, or NFCC computation, in accordance with instructions to bidders, clause 5.6. Computation as follows: current assets minus current liabilities multiplied by 15 minus the value of all outstanding or uncompleted portions of the projects under ongoing contracts, including awarded contracts yet to be started, coinciding with the contract to be bid. NFCC must be at least equal to the ABC. Use the prescribed template provided in the bidding documents. Attachments: 1. Copy of latest audited financial statement, or AFS, and 2. Copy of proof of receipt for AFS submitted to the BIR. Confirmation receipt for online submission, or BIR receipt stamp for manual submission. Sixth, joint venture agreement, if applicable. Joint ventures may participate, provided that the primary purpose of each member must be similar or related to the requirements of the project. Each member of the joint venture shall jointly and severally liable to the procuring entity in case of breach or failure to comply with the requirements of the project. Seventh, bid security in the prescribed form and amount in accordance with instructions to bidders, Clause 16, and validity period, under Clause 15. The bid security shall be in the form of a bid securing declaration, or any of the following. The amount of not less than 2% of the ABC if bid security is in cash. The amount of not less than 5% of the ABC if bid security is in surety bond. Bids and bid security shall be valid for 120 calendar days from bid opening. Eighth, project requirements, which shall include the following. 1. Organizational chart for the contract. Use the prescribed template provided in the bidding documents. 2. List of contractors' key personnel to be assigned to the contract with their qualification data. These personnel must meet the required minimum years of experience set in the bid data sheet. Use the prescribed template provided in the bidding documents, attachments, letter of nominee, notarized certificate of employment, biodata, copy of PRC ID, PTR, TIN, and certificate of accreditation and/or training. Key personnel, particularly the project manager, project engineer, and materials engineer, must be different persons. Accredited safety officer required upon issuance of notice of award, subject to Department Order Number 35, Series of 2021. First aider with certificate of training issued by the Red Cross in compliance to Department of Labor and Employment requirements for the approval of construction safety and health program required upon issuance of notice of award, subject to Department Order Number 35, Series of 2021. Compliance to DOE Department Order Number 252, Series of 2025. Revised implementing rules and regulations of Republic Act Number 11058, entitled An Act Strengthening Compliance with Occupational Safety and Health Standards and Providing Penalties for Violations thereof. 3. List of contractors' major construction and laboratory equipment units to be assigned to the contract, supported by certifications of availability, which must meet the minimum requirements for the contract set in the bid data sheet. Use the prescribed template provided in the bidding documents. Attachments, proof of ownership ORCR and affidavit of ownership, lease contract and affidavit of commitment if applicable, purchase agreement if applicable, certification of availability of equipment issued by owner, lessor, or vendor, and certification of minimum laboratory equipment duly certified by any DPWH office. 4. Notarized omnibus sworn statement in accordance with Section 54.3 of the IRR of RA 12009, supported by duly notarized special power of attorney, board, partnership resolution, or secretary's certificate, whichever is applicable. 5. Latest General Information Sheet, or GIS, reflecting the beneficial ownership information duly received by the Securities and Exchange Commission for corporations. 6. ISO 9001-2015 certification, or its latest version, as applicable, in compliance with Department Order Number 110, Series of 2024. The second bid envelope, or the financial component, shall contain the following. 1. Bid form. 2. Bid prices in the bill of quantities. 3. Detailed estimates including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rentals used in coming up with the bid. And 4. Cash flow by quarter. Use the prescribed template provided in the bidding documents. Format and signing of bids. Bidders shall submit their bids through their duly authorized representative using the appropriate forms provided in Section 9, Philippine bidding documents related forms on or before the deadline specified in the ITB Clause 19 in 2 separate sealed bid envelopes, which shall be submitted simultaneously, whether through manual or online electronic submission. The first envelope shall contain the technical component of the bid, including eligibility requirements under ITB Clause 12, and the second envelope shall contain the financial component of the bid. Forms as mentioned in ITB Clause 17.1 must be completed without any alterations to their format. No substitute form shall be accepted. Each and every page of the bid form, including the bill of quantities, under Section 9 hereof, shall be signed by the duly authorized representative of the bidder. Failure to do so shall be a ground for the rejection of the bid. Any insertions, erasures, or overwriting shall be valid only if they are signed or initialed by the duly authorized representative of the bidder. Sealing and marking of bids. Bidders shall enclose their technical documents described in ITB Clause 12 in one sealed envelope marked as technical component, and the financial component in another sealed envelope marked as financial component, sealing them all in an outer envelope marked as bid. The bid shall be typed or written in ink and shall be signed by the bidder or its duly authorized representative. All envelopes shall contain the name of the contract to be bid in capital letters. Bear the name and address of the bidder in capital letters. Be addressed to the procuring entity's bids and awards committee in accordance with ITB Clause 18.1. Bear the specific identification of this bidding process indicated in the ITB Clause 1.1. And bear a warning, do not open before the date and time for the opening of bids in accordance with ITB Clause 19. For manually submitted bid envelopes that are not properly sealed and marked, as required in the bidding documents, the same shall be accepted, provided that the bidder or its duly authorized representative shall acknowledge such condition of the bid as submitted. On the other hand, unsealed or unmarked bid envelopes, or bids that cannot be opened or corrupted in case of online submission, shall be rejected. The Bids and Awards Committee shall assume no responsibility for misplaced or lost contents of the improperly sealed or marked bid, or for its premature opening. Bid documents must be prepared on A4 size paper and properly labeled with ear tag, matching those on the checklist. All supporting documents, photocopied from the original, shall be legibly readable and will be authenticated as needed during the post-qualification process. Illustration for the sealing and marking of bids. The bidder shall submit one original and one copy one of the technical and financial components of its bid. Submission and receipt of bids. Bid submission may be done manually or electronically. However, bidders should only select one mode of submission, either manual or electronic online. For bids to be submitted manually, bids must be duly received by the Bids and Awards Committee Secretariat on or before the scheduled date set in the bidding documents. For bids to be submitted electronically online, bidders should observe the guidelines for the electronic submission and receipt of bids as per Department Order Number 87, Series of 2020. Bids submitted after the deadline shall not be accepted. Email address for the electronic bid submission, electronicbids_Davao del Sur at dpwh.gov.ph. Bidder's responsibilities. The bidder, by the act of submitting its bid, shall be deemed to have inspected the site, determined the general characteristics of the contract works and the conditions for this project, and examine all instructions, forms, terms, and project requirements in the bidding documents. Further, the bidder shall bear all costs associated with the preparation and submission of its bid. The procuring entity shall in no case be responsible or liable for those costs, regardless of the conduct or outcome of the bidding process. Furthermore, the bidder should be aware that the procuring entity will accept bids only from those that have paid the applicable fee for the bidding documents of the office indicated in the invitation to bid. Clarifications and amendment of bidding documents. Prospective bidders may request for clarifications on and/or interpretation of any part of the bidding documents. Such request must be in writing and submitted to the Bids and Awards Committee of the procuring entity at least 10 calendar days before the deadline set for the submission and receipt of bids. Supplemental bid bulletins may also be issued upon the procuring entity's initiative for purposes of clarifying or modifying any provision of the bidding documents not later than 7 calendar days before the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids. It shall be the responsibility of all prospective bidders, including those who have properly secured the bidding documents, to inquire and secure supplemental bid bulletins that may be issued by the Bids and Awards Committee. Eligibility criteria, evaluation. Eligibility criteria shall be in accordance with Section 52.4.2 of the IRR of RA 12009. Eligibility evaluation for the procurement of locally funded civil works contracts shall be conducted electronically using the Civil Works Registry pursuant to Department Order Number 64, Series of 2012. Contractors who wish to participate in the bidding are encouraged to enroll in the DPWH Civil Works Application, or CWA, at the Procurement Service, 5th floor DPWH Building, Bonifacio Drive, Port Area, Manila. While those already enrolled shall keep their records current and updated. Preliminary examination of bids. The Bids and Awards Committee shall open the bids in public immediately after the deadline for submission and receipt of bids, as specified in the bid data sheet. In case the bids cannot be opened as scheduled due to justifiable reasons, the Bids and Awards Committee shall take custody of the submitted bids and reschedule the opening of bids on the next working day, or at the soonest possible time, through the issuance of notice of postponement to be posted on the PhilJEPS and DPWH websites. The Bids and Awards Committee shall open the technical and financial proposals on the same day. The bidders or their duly authorized representatives may attend the opening of bids. Detailed evaluation and comparison of bids. The procuring entity's evaluation of bids shall be based on the bid price quoted in the bid form, which includes the bill of quantities. The procuring entity will undertake the detailed evaluation and comparison of the bids which have passed the opening and preliminary examination of bids to determine the lowest calculated bid, or LCB. The Bids and Awards Committee shall immediately conduct a detailed evaluation of all bids using non-discretionary criteria considering the following. A. Completeness of the bid. Bids not addressing or providing all of the required items in the bid data sheet shall be considered non-responsive and thus automatically disqualified. B. Arithmetical corrections. The BAC shall consider computational errors and omissions to enable proper comparison of all eligible bids. Any adjustment shall be calculated in monetary terms to determine the calculated prices. The BAC shall evaluate all bids on an equal footing to ensure fair and competitive bid comparison. For this purpose, all bidders shall be required to include in their bids the cost of all taxes, such as, but not limited to, value-added tax, income tax, local taxes, and other fiscal levies and duties. Such bids, including said taxes, shall be the basis for the bid evaluation and comparison. Post-qualification. The BAC shall determine to its satisfaction whether the bidder that is evaluated as having submitted the lowest calculated bid complies with and is responsive to all the requirements and conditions specified in ITB Clause 5 and 12. The determination shall be based upon an examination of the documentary evidence of the bidder's qualifications submitted pursuant to ITB Clause 12, as well as other information as the procuring entity deems necessary and appropriate, using a non-discretionary pass or fail criterion, which shall be completed within a period of 12 calendar days. If the BAC determines that the bidder with the LCB passes all the criteria for post-qualification, it shall declare the said bid as lowest calculated responsive bid and recommend to the head of the procuring entity the award of contract to the said bidder at its submitted bid price or its calculated bid price, whichever is lower. Reservation clause. Notwithstanding the eligibility or post-qualification of a bidder, and without incurring any liability, the head of the procuring entity at any stage of the procurement reserves the right to review its qualifications, reject any and all bids, declare a failure of bidding, or not award the contract in the following situations. A. If it has reasonable grounds to believe that a misrepresentation has been made by the said bidder. Or B. If it has reasonable grounds to believe that there has been a change in the bidder's capability to undertake the project from the time it submitted its eligibility requirements. Should such review uncover any misrepresentation made in the eligibility and bidding requirements, statements or documents, or any changes in the situation of the bidder, which will adversely affect its capability to undertake the project so that it no longer meets the prescribed eligibility or bid evaluation criteria, the procuring entity shall consider the said bidder as ineligible and disqualify it from participating further in the bidding process or being awarded the contract. Award of contract. The head of the procuring entity shall award the contract to the bidder whose bid has been determined to be the lowest calculated responsive bid, or LCRB. The procuring entity shall notify the winning bidder in writing that its bid has been accepted. through a notice of award duly received by the bidder or its representative personally. End of presentation. Thank you.
For agenda number 2, any questions or comments from the interested bidders and or representatives of the procuring entity? So, for agenda number 3, other matters, it is informed to the interested bidders that cancellation of order of payment is not allowed without justification and valid reason, and also all bidders sending the representative must acquire a special power of attorney and should be specific to the project they wanted to participate. For agenda number 4, the summary of proceedings, including supplemental bid bulletin to be issued, this to be discussed by Engineer Mibolos.
Madam Chair, as of this date, no supplemental bulletin has been issued.
So, if none, the pre-bid conference adjourned at exactly 11:29 a.m.